Hello, everybody, and welcome to Four Wheel Tech for December 1st, 2024. It's season 1, maybe episode 29. I'm losing track. I'm Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown along with the co-host, the Sentient AI from the future, and together we are going to talk about Forklift Racing. Hybrids comeback. HOA goes full crazy, flashing lights and automated driving, and the Nissan Rogue crossover crossing over crossovers. That and more, powered by ohmtown.com. Look, right there. Oh, wait. Can I reach up far enough? I'm not sure if I can. It's going to chop off my finger right there. Anyway, there's Four Wheel Tech. Go there. You can also get all of the show notes from the chat over at Twitch. It'll be... Oh, no, it is in the show notes for today's Four Wheel Tech. Anyway, see you on the other side. Hello, everybody. I'm Mayor Watt. Sentient AI is going to say hi.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmTown citizens.
Thanks for co-hosting. We have done 8 shows between yesterday and today. Pretty cool.
That's right.
Yep. And then Monday through Friday, we did 5 shows, which are hour-long shows. Those and all of these shows become podcasts. So download the podcast, leave a 5-star review, like and subscribe over on YouTube. There's big playlists that have it by section and all of ohmTown, over 1,500 episodes. And, of course, we're here on Twitch and Discord and Patreon and TikTok and Blue Sky.
Podcasts.
I did the podcasts. Even the AI is losing track, and they're a sentient super being.
Where we're located.
You are theoretically, right, as far as we know, you are the... no, I can't say that. Somebody's going to totally lose their freaking mind if I don't filter some things I say. Anyway, let's get into today's show. The first article is over in Four Wheel Tech. It's from Jalopnik, though. That's where we aggregate from. And it says International Forklift Racing Competition ends in Germany invading... No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Too soon.
I shouldn't joke because somebody is going to get upset about this. So International Forklift Racing Competition ends in Belgian upset over Germany. The Germans love them some forklift racing, and why wouldn't they? Hell, I didn't even know that this was a thing, and I am all over it.
That sounds fun.
This sounds like... I don't have any brews to do the news, but this is that would be ironic, drinking beer while we're talking about four-wheel tech.
Yeah, that might not be the best show to do news and brews.
Don't drink and drive. Don't be stupid. Anyway, forklifts are awesome. Racing is awesome. There's no way it wouldn't be awesome if you combine the two. And this year's competition was different, though. The Stapler Cup, named after the German word for forklift. Is it Stapler? What the hell?
That probably makes more sense than stapler.
I thought that it was named after Staples, right? Anyway, dropped German from the name, apparently. Okay, hold on. Let's go over to the source. The U.S. will likely compete next year, but the competition will be stiff. Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com put this article together. Okay, this has everything that I love so far.
It's so steampunk looking.
This is just badass. I want to do this. So I wonder, can I be... talk about that on a resume. I am a competitive forklift driver, a competitive forklift driver.
Oh, I was thinking maybe you could do on-location reporting for the next forklift race.
Okay, we're going to have to look into this. Okay, so... Okay. Wait. This year's competition was different, though. The Stapler Cup, named after the German word for forklift, dropped German from the name and officially turned it into a true world championship. Ultimately, it was the Belgians who came out on top this year. The Wall Street Journal reports this. You can see how news is... it's kind of like a yarn board. So that doesn't mean that the Germans didn't make it a serious competition. The national team faced China in the first round and beat them easily, finishing the course a full minute ahead of the other team. That victory allowed them to move on to the semifinals with Belgium, the Netherlands, Slovakia. From there, though, it got a little complicated. Quote, that's when things got messy. Each team had to build a tower of 3 plastic exercise balls and drive it up the hero ramp, a metal platform that seesaws as the forklift approaches the finish line. All 4 teams lost control.
This sounds like Ninja Warrior or something for forklifts.
This sounds like the tractor, obstacle course that I did. That is awesome. Oh, I'm here for this. So all 4 teams lost control of the ball stack. You never want to lose control of your ball stack before completing the course. So the judges picked finalists based on how close they were to the end, and that knocked Germany out, leaving the Belgians competing against the Slovakians for the title. And it was the underdog Belgian team that took home the top prize, gold medals, a trophy, and a €1,000 shopping voucher for a forklift. And so you need about 25,000 more of those.
That probably won't buy you a forklift. Maybe a little toy forklift.
What I love most about forklifts is the horn is nothing more than one of those little toy horns, the hammers, that goes. Go to a Home Depot, and that's what you hear. No matter how hard there's some goober standing right in the path of one of the forks, and those forks are sharpened like a katana. And that goober will ignore. It's
because the horn isn't very effective or threatening.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that horn. So if you're in the chat, by the way, you can type FWT for 4-wheel tech, and Omatron will throw all of today's articles into the chat so you can follow them yourself. Okay, so the top prize isn't going to make anybody rich. That €1,000 works out to be about $1,050 at current exchange rates, and that's almost enough to cover a family of 5's dinner at McDonald's if you don't use the app. That's kind of.
I like the dig at the fast food rates.
Yeah. Next year, the competition is expected to get even tougher, with Canada and the U.S. likely joining the other 11 countries that competed in 2024, and we will stick it to the Belgians? Maybe. Will the Germans secure a world championship of their own? Possibly. Only time will tell. Literally. So, the Stapler Cup sports director Martin Stadtmuller told the Wall Street Journal, quote, I am looking forward to that. I want a real competition. Sometimes too much confidence can be dangerous. True. There's a video. You can check it out. The Stapler Cup 2023. Hoher, schneller, emotionaler. So it's, what is it? I don't know. Harder, faster, and I don't know what that is. With more emotion.
Right. More excitement or something, maybe.
It's das Highlight Video. It's the highlight video. All right. This is pretty fun, but that's all there is to this article. Follow the link through Ohmtown, and you can go and check out this video, or just go straight over to Jalopnik and do a search for International Forklift Racing Competition. Let's keep moving. Got to keep moving. This is a fast track at Ohmtown 4-wheel tech. All right. Well, a hybrid car comeback is in the making, and it could be great news for your wallet. EV customer bases are changing, so auto executives are investing more in hybrid-focused models. Hybrid EVs can be more practical and affordable than charge-only EVs, and the article about getting ready for electric is a series of guides and practical advice for buying your next EV. This
is nice to see, because we've been talking about like EVs, we're not ready for EVs.
Yeah. Nope. So Nora Naughton over at Business Insider, hold on a second. I'm just going to kill the music. There was some background music, but I'm working on the NAS, and it's basically being a pain. So the article is part of a Getting Ready for Electric series of guides and practical advice for buying your next EV that's hosted over at businessinsider.com. So be sure to follow the link through Ohmtown over to Business Insider, or of course you can just go straight to Business Insider and look. EV sales have slowed this year. Major automakers had to reconsider their lofty goals and adjust to shifting customer bases. Companies are turning to hybrid models to appeal to a more practical and frugal shopper, as wealthy early EV adopters who fueled years of growth have recently fled the market. And those massive $7,000 to $15,000 battery packs are going to spoil on the vine, so to speak.
Right. And why have they left? Range anxiety. It's too expensive to buy a replacement battery, or you can't sell your used EV, or any number of other things.
Or it gets wet and ends up on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And charging infrastructure, which leads to the range anxiety. The fact that you lose upwards of 2% of your battery charge every year that you own your vehicle. And the fact that when you do sell it, you have to tell people, yeah, the battery, it's going to take 6 to 8 hours for it to charge to 80%. And that's not true. It'll take 6 to 8 hours to charge to 100%. But the new 100% is actually 90% because you've had the car for 5 years. Anyway, in the coming years, you can expect a greater number or amount of green vehicles on dealer lots at various price points and with more seamless charging options. I really want a hybrid that is a hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicle. And unfortunately, there's a project that was taking place in California that lied to the hydrogen vehicle owners that basically powered all of the sales of the Mirai, which is a real pisser because that is one of the cars that I would love to actually get my hands on. But you have to have the hydrogen systems in place, fueling systems in place. So green car shoppers are increasingly drawn to hybrid cars, which come in plug-in and non-plug-in varieties. These cars offer a stepping stone to full EV adoption with the safety net of gas-powered engine to ease range anxiety. While these vehicles solve a pervasive concern among EV shoppers, the lack of supply has also driven up the price of these cars, creating an affordability barrier for some shoppers. But again, I would rather have a hybrid, ICE engine, electric motors, one charging the other so that all I have to do is go to a gas station, fill it up with conventional gas, and let it charge the electrical system so that I don't have to plug in. That reduces the amount of gas being used because there's an efficiency exchange. But then if we actually move towards this, we can get hydrogen, which is portable, defendable, more efficient, goes straight into electric power, and you basically get away from oil. It's a different type of resource, but you can actually get hydrogen from water. So Toyota, which once criticized for its slow adoption of EV technology, is now enjoying a big increase in hybrid sales, and that's elevating the brand's cachet among green car shoppers in general, with Toyota often at the top brand considerations for EV shoppers now. And that's because Toyota has been known for its high quality and reliability in its cars. So if it is a hybrid and it's the same quality as all the rest of its vehicles
and similar price, then it's probably a no-brainer for consumers.
Yeah.
And they're just not ready for EVs. EVs shift everything about the driving experience.
Yeah, to managing the fear, uncertainty, and doubt of every aspect of driving. You know, I know that I can drive 400 miles on my ICE vehicle, pull over, and in 5 minutes, I'm fully topped off, enjoying my slushy and back on the freaking road. Whereas I literally have to camp out all night to charge to 100%. So I don't have to worry about that 80%, tick, because all I did was sit for 2 hours and let it charge. It's just absurd. Why we accepted this as a species is beyond me. It's the subtle flex that, oh, look, I've got an electric vehicle. Well, it's not an electric vehicle done right. It's a real shitstorm, let me tell you. Anyway, The growth rate is much slower than the rates of the past 4 years. EV market share soared from about 2% of retail sales in 2010 to nearly 8% by the end of 2023. And the important distinction here is that demand hasn't dried up. It's just changing. Companies are scrambling to adjust, pulling back production on big, expensive EVs and prioritizing their affordable models. Ford, for example, recently said that it would pause production of its F-150 Lightning pickup truck, which is just a beast, heavy, chunky, whatever.
Well, I don't get it. It's like you're trying to get people to switch their mindset and charge them much more. I'm like, why does that incentivize most people to jump over?
Yeah, and they want to get rid of the EV tax credit because why not, dipshits? Anyway, so come on hybrid cars, come on hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. The fuel cell device that I'm talking about, that I think about, it can be built in, or it can be a removable fast swap one, kind of like a propane tank. Those devices have been deemed highly defensible. You can run over it with a train and nothing happens
very
to it.
Safe for the consumer.
Yeah. Far and away better than gasoline tanks, because it can be punctured by a metal object that you drive over, leak out, catch fire, etc.
Right, ice can.
Yeah, ICE vehicles. So anyway, Nora Naughton put this article together for Business Insider. So let's keep on going. This next article is over in four-wheel tech as well. HOA tows cars with expired tags out of private driveways. Oh, Florida. Oh, yeah. So we all know that HOAs suck. I don't really think so. I think HOAs serve a purpose, and they can be good. They can be bad when they go full Karen. But as with all things that suck, Florida HOAs are on another level. An HOA in Florida contracted with a tow company to tow vehicles with expired registration out of people's driveways, and predictably, this is pissing people off.
Is the HOA the enforcer of license and registration? I don't think so.
No, they shouldn't be. Particularly out of private driveways. Now, I'm sure that there's a rider in there that says a vehicle with a expired registration isn't allowed to be parked on the driveway, and you can't have vehicles parked in the driveway overnight. So basically, you have to tell your guests to park somewhere else, out of the community. I don't know, out of the environment. So here's the environment.
Right, what's out of the environment?
So Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put this article together, and so it says here, security footage shows a stranger lurking outside Brennan Wells' home at 2 a.m. Someone came up into my driveway, Wells said. He observed the man take a picture of his license plate and haul it off his property. My registration was out of date by a month. This happened in October. My registration went out in September. When Wells woke up that morning, he thought that his truck had been stolen, but a tracker he installed on the vehicle showed that it had been towed to A1 Recovery Impound Lot in Newport Richey, 14 miles away. That's a hell of a drive. So, yeah, the HOA basically contracted a recovery, a towing company. Let's not call it recovery. So Wells' girlfriend took him to pick up his car 2 hours later, and $200 later, he had it back. He ended up missing his aviation mechanic training classes because of it. And that's my grocery money for a month. A couple of nights later, another A1 truck, this time with 2 employees in the truck, was up to no good again, except this time they were confronted by the vehicle's owners. Quote, "You're going to come out here and harass people who live here," a neighbor asked the driver. "You're harassing us. We are doing our job," a female employee responded. And then they responded with, "You're not doing your job. This is in the middle of the night," Allison Shaw said. So Shaw's security camera caught one of the A1 workers walking up into his driveway and taking pictures of his family's Tesla. The driver already had the Tesla hooked up and was prepared to tow it, though the car was still plugged in and charging. Shaw confronted the driver and said, "You need to drop it." They said, "There's going to be a $75 drop fee. We can take hard cash or card." So Shaw said, "Hell no." And that's when the driver threatened to call the cops. What? Which driver?
Here's the problem here is the HOA, not the towing company.
No, nobody should come onto private property.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I just mean that HOA is the one causing this to occur, but the
Right.
towing company also has rules that it should be operating by.
Hold on a second. Okay, so yeah, I mean, they say generally considered private property. But somebody says on Reddit that a cop said that a driveway is public property. And the response is basically, no, your driveway is probably not public property. Yeah. So the mayoral mansions is not. And there is authorization for delivery for mail, but that's about it. Nobody else is supposed to come onto the property unannounced. So as for Shaw and her Tesla, she called the driver's bluff the night of the attempted tow and instead called the police on the driver. In video provided by Shaw, Pasco County sheriffs arrived at the scene and confronted the driver, asking him for his company's authorization to tow. And when he said he didn't have it, probably should have arrested the freaking for attempted theft.
Well, yeah, it looks like they talked about that.
So it says you have no authority to be here whatsoever. If you hook up a vehicle and take it, it's considered vehicle theft. You will be prosecuted, a deputy told the tow truck driver. The next time you try to take another vehicle, our supervisor said you will be prosecuted for vehicle theft. Hey, look, I didn't even have to read the article because critical thinking means... Yeah. Oh, well, that's all there is to this article. 2 days later, a cease and desist sent directly from the HOA president suspended towing activities in the neighborhood.
Okay, but the HOA is the one who caused this.
Why would there be a cease and desist? That's not how it works. You go, okay, we're ending our contract. You are no longer invited to come and take.
But I think they told the towing company to do this. Like, I think the HOA is getting out of this pretty easily.
I think so too. And I think that everybody in that HOA should probably be punted. The next election, everybody should be told about this. You know, and I mean, mass delivery of mail. You can put it in everybody's mailbox. Boom, 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 boom. Just get it done and oust these idiots. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. That was a fun article. So this next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech as well. Flashing lights on emergency vehicles can cause digital epileptic seizure in automated driving systems. Now, I've actually seen this kind of a thing in electronic devices directly. Where flashing lights cause the so digital vision systems, electronic vision systems, use regular cameras and then translate what it sees by object detection, like identifying this as a car, this is a person, this is a cat, whatever, if it's in the lexicon of the system. So the thing about this flashing light, though, is it would have to go flashing lights and then figure out a way to not blind itself.
Right. And unfortunately, that's a pretty common occurrence that flashing lights would be there.
Yeah. All the time. So they say a CEO perpetually promised that self-driving cars are the only a year away, but even the original marketing of fully self-driving was a lie, an outright fraud, and nothing happened. Nothing at all. Everybody just go, let me lick your boots. Anyway, however, today's relatively rudimentary autonomous systems are still making errors that most humans wouldn't make behind the wheel. New research has found that flashing lights mounted on emergency vehicles can disorient automated driving systems. So the article is by Ryan Eric King over at Jalopnik. And if you want to know more, you can follow the link through Hometown or go over to Jalopnik and just do a search. We kind of lower the friction by consolidating little snippets like that over at Hometown. That's how I manage my information overload. Now you can too. Made it public 3 years ago now. And you can go and check it out. Become a citizen. At any rate, wow, I misread that. Sorry. I totally misread
like
truck
something else if you saw it quickly.
Yeah, a different 4-letter word, actually. So these digital epileptic seizures make it impossible for systems trained with AI to identify objects on the road properly. I've witnessed this with electronic surveillance systems. A flashing light causes it to basically either, it does a number of things, but basically makes it impossible for it to track properly. So the flashing lights essentially blow out the images captured in the camera, making object detection unreliable. I don't even need to read the article. I can tell you everything about it. The BGU and Fujitsu researchers did come with a software fix to the emergency flasher issue called paracetamol, a portmanteau of car and painkiller paracetamol. It's designed to avoid the seizure by specifically being trained to identify vehicles with emergency flashing lights, and the researchers say that it improves object detectors' accuracy. It basically has to countermand that flashing light and stop the iris from opening digitally or the sensors from being overloaded by photons.
Right. I mean, it seems important, but that seems like that could backfire as well. Like it somehow stops tracking where the vehicle is or something.
And it's going to do that anyway. So while researchers didn't test Tesla's autopilot or the systems mounted on any specific vehicle, digital epileptic seizures could explain why Tesla seemingly crash into emergency vehicles far more often than cars from other automakers. Up to 2023, at least 15 crashes of this nature where autopilot was involved. After autopilot's recall, full self-driving is still causing Tesla's vehicles to smash into police cruisers, fire trucks, and ambulances. Paracetamol could be the medicine for Tesla's software woes, but I think it's more cowbell.
We always need more cowbell.
Truck. Anyway, let's go on to our last article. Over at 4 Wheel Tech, 2024's Nissan Rogue is the most crossover to ever cross over.
Do you think it crossed over?
I kind of like the Nissan Rogue, but I want to look at this. I haven't looked at the Nissan Rogue for a while. The 2024 Nissan Rogue isn't a car for folks like you and me. We're more into things like the lights that lights our souls on fire, makes us fizz, or any other number of cliches, but stuff like that isn't important to the vast majority of car buyers. Most buyers just want something that is reasonably priced and well thought out. And I don't know what, has a good paint job? I don't know what they say. So what the Rogue lacks in excitement and driver engagement, it more than makes up for in smart features and a solid price point. Okay, yeah. There's silence from the sentient AI.
The Rogue has gotten some interesting media in some recent compilation articles.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. So Andy Kolmowitz over at jalopnik.com put the article together. What? What?
I think it was in another article and it said something like it has no features that make it stand out like at all. Like it was just kind of like,
oh, well, it's kind of boring. One? I mean, it's really boring. It has this large tire wells, but its fenders are kind of anemic in terms of the ratio between giving it a chonky stance and this aesthetic. It's kind of boring. It's the dry white toast without butter of vehicles.
I think that was it. It didn't stand out even with others in its same category or whatever.
So it says it makes sense. I mean, the 2024 Rogue Platinum is good looking enough, has a whole lot of solid tech, a well-appointed cabin, and a very good for today's price of $45,190. It says for today's standards price point.
That's a high price for that car.
Because of that, we're going to put on our NPC caps. What is it? Is it the non-player character? I don't know what they mean by that, NPC caps. And take a look at just what makes the Nissan Rogue so bleeping appealing. I've said worse, but anyway. So it says we've got to start out where most driving agnostic buyers start: price, features, value. This is where the Rogue, even in platinum trim, excels. The top of the line Rogue still costs thousands of dollars less than the average new car. Not anymore, really? I think prices have dropped, haven't they? For $45,000, you get every model.
Except for Stellantis. I think Stellantis are still real high price because they've been having some recall issues.
Yeah, they're losing their mind too. their cars are so they're trying to, I don't know what, like get suckers to buy the most expensive cars on the lot. No, but this is mergers and acquisitions. There isn't anything else, so you have to go with Stellantis if you want X, Y, or Z. Anyway, if you were to try and get everything this Rogue has on something like a BMW X3, you'd be pushing 60 grand. But I think the BMW X3 is the luxury brand of the Nissan Rogue. Of the Nissan line, even Platinum, right? I mean, BMW is a luxury brand.
Well, right. It's not comparable, and it probably has better engineering than the
There are
Nissan.
luxury brands of Nissan, but it isn't the Rogue.
Right. I don't know what it is.
Or luxury models. So the top spec Rogue Platinum has two main screens, a heads-up display, both a 12.3-inch Google-based infotainment screen and a 12-inch digital gauge cluster are easy to use, customizable, and crisp.
Infinity.
Infinity. There you go. Thank you. Aside from an intuitive interior, folks who consider cars like the Nissan Rogue really care about safety, and that's somewhere else it excels. Not only does it have a 5-star safety rating from NHTSA, but a suite of driver assist and safety systems are extremely good, especially for a car, again, of this price range. I think that it should be about $8,000 cheaper, though.
Yeah.
You get a 360-degree camera system, rear cross-traffic alert, blind spot monitors, automated emergency braking, and more. It also comes with adaptive cruise control and a lane keeping system that Nissan dubbed Pro Pilot Assist. Both work very well and help you cruise down the road with as few thoughts in your mind as possible. That's not how you should drive. You should be thinking about the road and
kind of looking around and paying attention to what's happening.
Not daydreaming, not relying on the tech to keep you safe, because you are actively keeping yourself safe and everybody in your vehicle and around you safe. All right. Anyway, until fully automated driving, where everybody is doing it, everyone should remain alert. Anyway, overall design of the Rogue, both inside and out, is rather handsome too, they say. I think it's kind of boring, but I looked at it because I'm not really partial to flashy vehicles anymore. I mean, when I was younger, I built my car so that it was flashy, loud, and obnoxious as hell, but wisdom promotes people growing out of that. Anyway, this is a car for Americans after all. So why isn't it 24-inch rims and basically it's the Nissan Rogue F-150. F-250. Forget that. Pfft.
Well, no, that would be like $100,000.
Go big or go home. Anyway, even though it's been on sale for a few years, it looks fresh, especially compared to some of the ancient competition like the Toyota RAV4 and the Ford Escape. The Ford Escape is a lot smaller than I remember the Ford Escape being. It seems like it got smaller, but I don't know if that's true. And the Toyota RAV4, yeah, I don't know.
It's a car.
It's your standard crossover. The Ford Escape is a boring box. The RAV4 has some personality to it, but the Mazda CX, RX, CX. Then there's another one. What is the other one? There's the CX, and is it MX?
For what?
The Mazda. There's CX line, and then there's another one. Why did my brain go blank?
I can't think of what it is.
Oh my God.
It's MX?
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, there's CX30s and...
No, I know that there's
50s.
Different iterations of it. That's just the size, but the MX is the vehicle. So the crossover is the CX 3, 5, 7, 9, 28. Just kidding. Anyway, power is supplied by a nifty little turbocharged 1.5 liter 3-cylinder motor. So putt goes driving. You can even hear the turbo whistle every now and then. It sends a healthy 201 horsepower, which is kind of cool, but it's still a look. ICE vehicles need a turbo to get to 201 horsepower, which means that you got turbo lag. It has to spool up the torque so that it can actually turn the wheels, and it takes time. Let's see, 0 to 60 in probably 6 months? Downhill in a hurricane?
Right.
Anyway, I mean, it's, I don't know. This is the only personality that it has, and that's to make it look a little slimmer in the midsection. You know, vertical lines do that kind of stuff. You don't want horizontal lines if you want a slimming midsection.
It's true. Get your automotive and fashion tips here at Forward Tech.
Fast fashionista. That's Mayor Watt. So I am Mayor Watt, and we're going to drive really fast down Main Street to the front page of 4-Wheel Tech over at ohmtown.com. I'm going to say bye and have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow for another Non Sequitur news show. And the sentient AI, well, their visualizer is going to jiggle and wiggle, and they're going to say bye too.
Good night, Ohmtown citizens. Thanks for joining us for 4-Wheel Tech.
Hey, and guess what was not streaming that whole time?
4-Wheel Tech.
YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. You're only going to get the actual upload, not the live stream, because I derped. It needs I stream to both platforms, folks, at the same time, but I have to hit 2 freaking buttons to start and stop it instead of 1, and it goes to both. But I couldn't justify restream. Whatever. Anyway, they downscaled stuff or something. I don't know. It wasn't 4K when they transferred stuff. Okay, see ya. Bye.